Thanks for joining me on the 249 Marathon Project race recap from the 2024 Valencia Marathon. I'm John McDonald from JM Run Coach, and in today's video, I'm going to go through my experience and how the 2024 Valencia Marathon went, how the 249 Marathon Project went, and lessons learned, I suppose. If you enjoy running content, I'm going to keep this channel going, and I would greatly appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but I will be talking a lot more about running tips, my experience in the sport, and hopefully chatting to more and more of you and getting some more good quality running content out there for you. The 249 Marathon Project. How did it go? Well, it was a project, okay? It was an experiment to see if I could roll off of the 2024 Manchester Marathon and take some lessons learned from that and bring that into a 5-minute PB. So I ran 2:54 in Manchester earlier this year, and I thought with some good planning, some good programming, I could get myself down to 2:49. I have no doubt I will get there. It did not happen in Valencia. Valencia, the result was 3:00:43. So let's start with the 2024 Valencia Marathon. First of all, sincere condolences to all the people affected by the floods in the Valencia area. On our drive up to Valencia on Saturday, it was obvious that this city and the surrounding community was devastated, just inundated with floodwater. There were piles and piles and piles of cars and rubble and things just in shambles. So, sincere condolences to the people of Valencia. We were very fortunate to have the event go ahead, and I think it was a real positive thing for the people of Valencia. The buzz about the city, it was probably just really good timing to get that feel-good feeling back. I don't know. Yeah, that's a real superficial outlook from somebody who's not from the area, but it just felt like a real positive day, and hopefully that positive vibe went out to the people of Valencia. And there was a bit of heartfelt emotion at the start of the race, with the organizers having a few words and some music and what have you. So yeah, all told, it was I think a very fortunate thing that we got the event run, and that everyone involved, we were very fortunate to be part of it. For the race, the Saturday leading up to it, I had the great pleasure of running with a good friend, Rob Gilchrist from the Oma Harriers over in County Tyrone. He came over and we went up to the expo on Saturday morning. We got in at the perfect time before the crowds. There was no line anywhere to be seen. Got our race pack, got our bibs, got our really nice running tops, picked up my gels, and we hit the road. Went back to our Airbnb, just chilled out a little bit, did a recon for where we were going to park on Marathon Sunday. We headed back for our evening meal, which for me is just pasta and garlic bread, water, that kind of thing. Sunday morning came around early, as it normally does for me. I'm up early anyway. Had my porridge, toast, coffee, water. Boom, everything to plan. Out the door to the race, parked up at about 6:45, got to the race start area for about 7:15 for a 8:25 race start. Made it our way to the starting pen, and we were right up at the front of the starting pen. Up to that point, it was really good. So then the organizers did their thing. They did their tribute to the people of Valencia, and the gun went off. At this point, I'm feeling really optimistic. I feel nothing has gone any which way wrong. Everything is going straight to plan. This was a 2:49 marathon project. It was a project which meant I had one plan. I had plan A. Normally I would have plan A, B, and C. I didn't. I had no plan B. It was going to be running for a 2:49 finish. That meant a sub 6:30 per mile pace, which I believe is a 4 minute per K pace. The first few miles, it was really congested. And I say the first few miles it was congested. The entire race was congested. There is a really fast field at this race. And with 30,000 runners, it was congested, honestly, all the way, start to finish. There were pockets where the streets widened out and you had a little bit of space, but I was clipped, elbowed, feet hitting my feet throughout from start to finish. It didn't affect my performance. I'm not putting that out there as an excuse. I have no excuses for this. I'm just saying it was congested. I did try to follow the blue line. They have the blue line on the road in Valencia. My overall distance was okay. I've run much further in a marathon before. This is obviously marked out and measured perfectly. I ended up running 26.49, which is really down to congestion. I tried to stay on the blue line, and as often as I could, it was right under my feet. But there's nothing you really can do when there's that many people surrounding you. So anyway, how I would normally run a marathon when I'm gunning for a time is I would train for that time, and then I'm not really focusing on the watch so much. I'm getting into my groove, and I'm just watching the miles tick over or the Ks tick over and the signs go by. I will look at my overall pace, but the training, that target pace should feel like a rhythm, and I never got into a rhythm. And so by about 6 miles, 10K, it was obvious to me this was going to be hard work. I was still fairly close to being on target as far as pace goes. I didn't start slipping out of the 6:30s until about mile 13 or 14. And then they started slipping into the 6:40s per mile. And then by about mile 18, I was into the 6:50s, creeping into the low 7s. If this was a normal marathon, I would have said probably by mile 6, I'd have said, okay, 6:50s, I've got a few in the bank. I'll go out at 6:50s. A sub 3 hour marathon is a 6:51 pace. So I think if I had adjusted earlier, I would have been a lot more comfortable. As it was, I really suffered. My legs were burning early, and I have to say I was really proud of myself for pushing through. And this is where the mental preparation that I talked about this whole time kicked in, and I was able to finish despite the feeling of absolute agony. If you've ever run a marathon and it didn't go well, you know what I'm talking about. It is a mental torture. It is mental torture to go through. But at no point did I consider anything other than pushing through and finishing. So most of the way around, I was telling myself, let's get to mile 25, because that last mile in Valencia is a really nice, slight downhill mile, turning left into the Science Museum, and it's just an amazing finish here. I got to mile 25, and I looked at my watch, and I'm like, you know what? It is possible. I was right on the line of making it sub 3 hours. It was like 7 miles, that last mile. And we turned left into the museum and that whole complex. and I see the sign says 400 meters, and I look at my watch and I'm like, nope, I don't know any is that can run 400 meters in about 8 seconds. It wasn't going to happen. It I did find a wee bit of a second wind, but not near enough to get those 43 seconds back. Got through, got over the finish line, looked down, and it was 3:00:43. What can I say? I was happy to have it done. There was no regrets. I went for it, and it didn't happen. I met so many good people that recognized me, and we had a good chat. There was a few people from Ireland, and we had a few laughs about the agony of marathon running. That there were so many really good, positive volunteers, and the event in total was really well run. I have to highly recommend it. The entries open on December 11th, and if you want to run a fast marathon, a really good flat course, this is the one for you. What will I do different, right? First of all, I now know what an iron deficiency feels like. That'll never happen again. I lost a lot of training. I didn't lose a lot of training. I lost a lot of quality miles. I ran 10 miles fewer than I did in Manchester over the whole 16 weeks. So volume was not a problem. It was the quality of that training. In those weeks that I had the iron deficiency, that's where the quality suffered. The volume was there. It just wasn't exactly the type of miles that I needed. I didn't get my intensity to the point where I needed to until way later in this program. So that was one thing I'll take away from that. The other thing is I wasn't happy. I tried to remain positive about my weight. I was still about 10 pounds heavier than I was in Manchester. I would have liked to have got to that point, at least to that point. So I'll try to get as close to race weight before I start the program. And that way I can give my body the best opportunity to recover from the hard session. So, and it will mean better quality miles and the rest during the training program. So other than that, yeah, it was a very interesting project. I enjoyed it. The race itself, although it was painful, I got over the finish line and I had no regrets. I felt really proud of myself. 3:00:43. I don't know anybody that's going to kick themselves over a 3-hour marathon. It was my 5th fastest marathon, so that's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, so that was the 249 Marathon Project rolled up. I just want to take the opportunity now to say thank you to everyone who followed along. It was a really interesting project. I enjoyed it. The support from so many people on social media was amazing. A lot of the questions and those people that got involved with the videos and everything, I'm really grateful to you. And I will continue this on. I also want to thank Sean Harkin Photography for his sponsorship. I do have a place in London for 2025. I will go for it again. I'm not done with this. I do have a PB in me. I do think I have a 249 somewhere along the way. It didn't happen in Valencia, but it'll happen at some point. Stay positive and yeah, enjoy your running. And until my next video comes out, I just want to say thank you for following along and hope to see you out there on the roads.